My name is Yuvan. My name is Viraj. I'm in class 1. My name is Noor. Meera. My name's Tara. I like everything like stuffies and cats and dogs and puppies the most. But kittens are my type and my cat peed on me 2 times. My name is Arjun and my grade is 3. My name is Kiaya. My name is Yuvan. My name is Veer.
Who's your best friend in school?
Kian. Ariana. My best friend is Kudrat and Kismat. Ira and Kian Gupta.
Why they are your best friends?
Ira, I found her, so we said, can we be friends? Because I had no friends that time. Naina or Vivan. Because they're my level. My best friend is Kudrat, Veer and Rudra.
And what else do you do in school?
I like coloring. We play, we talk, like football players or Pelado.
What do you guys do when you guys meet each other? What do you play? What do you guys do?
We play Avengers, Sonic. We play different games, ice and water, floor is lava. Sometimes I like to play like sword fighting games, or usually I play with my animals. I play sometimes on my iPad and sometimes I play in real. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Sometimes we play tag and sometimes we build a sandcastle in the sand pit. One is the Speedy. He has to run away from the hunter. Also color tag. When we hang out, one day we exploded Coke. We took Mentos, Coke, exploded it, so much came out. And one day we shaked a Fanta bottle also, it exploded. I usually play ice and water, Mrs. Fox and color tag.
Yellow. Just run and tag yellow.
Okay.
Go.
I already know it's yellow.
What makes you the happiest when you're playing?
It's because I like playing with teamwork.
What kind of teamwork?
Like if I need help, I can call my friends. Because Sonic is really speed and I like really speed and my favorite color is blue and peach.
What do you watch on TV?
Putty.
Yeah.
I watch Hot Wheels and my brother watch Jurassic World 2.
What do you like, Peppa or George? Or Mummy Pig or Daddy Pig?
Putty Pig.
No, Meera, come on. See, Dada and Noor.
I usually like to watch my iPad.
What do you watch on your iPad?
I play a few games like Roblox and a game called Dress to Impress. And I play sometimes Blockcraft. So I play Geometry Dash where you have to dodge all these spikes. And I play Tetris. I don't have a phone. I play on my father's phone, Roblox.
Namaste and welcome to Bachpan Manao, a joint initiative by NDTV and EkStep Foundation celebrating the magic of childhood. What you just saw was a snippet of our conversation with a group of children sharing their experience in play. Through the show, we will get you more heartwarming glimpses into the world of play as seen through the eyes of those who know all about it, our youngest experts, children. Today, we delve deeper into the profound impact of play on young minds, particularly during the first 3,000 days, which is conception to the age of 8, a critical period that lays the foundation for their future. Before we start our conversation, we invite you to join the Bachpan Manao movement. So do take the pledge to reduce screen time and prioritize play, giving your child the gift of a healthier, happier childhood. By taking this pledge, you join a community committed to reducing screen time and bringing more play into their lives. Joining us today to talk about how play activates multiple brain regions is Dr. Amit Sen, Senior Child and Adolescent Psychiatrist and Director, Children First. Joining us also is Harpreet Singh Grover, curious parent and an independent researcher in parenting and education. We also have Dr. Manoj Kumar Sharma, Professor of Clinical Psychology and Coordinator of SHUT Clinic, which is a service for healthy use of technology, NIMHANS, Bangalore. And in studio, we have with us Dipali Som, content creator and entrepreneur. Thank you all so much for joining us today. But before we dive into this critical conversation, let us all look at the science of play, because play is not just fun and games. It's a powerful tool that shapes our brains and lays the foundation for future success. Let's take a closer look at the neuroscience of play. Now, play activates multiple brain regions simultaneously. The prefrontal cortex, it helps in decision making and planning. The cerebellum, which helps with motor coordination. The amygdala, the emotional regulation, and the hippocampus helps with memory formation. Now, Dr. Sen, it is very clear, we just saw that there is a clear science to play. Even throwing sand in the air does something. Tell us, what is play really stimulating? Explain us what we just saw all about the brain.
So play is a natural way of life and being for children, right from the beginning, from the word go, from the time perhaps they're 3 or 4 months old, they're beginning to scan the environment and looking for sensory inputs. And even at that time, if you give them some sensory toys, they'll become curious about it. They'll reach out to it. And then, of course, after that, when they grow up a little more, they get into what's called messy play. So they might then, mess around with, let's say, sand or their food or toys, perhaps. It seems chaotic, but that's a way of how they begin to explore and learn about the world.
Yeah.
You named it different parts of the brain. You talked about the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, which is a part of the limbic system, which actually houses all kinds of emotions, our drive, our motivation, etc.
Yeah.
You also talked about the hippocampus, which is about memory, and then the cerebellum and other parts of the brain, which are to do with balance, coordination, motor activity, etc. So think of, if you can imagine a child who's playing outdoors and is using all kinds of very coordinated actions to be able to play. And that stimulates the cerebellum and that part, right? They're also thinking about how to plan their activity, what to do, and that engages the prefrontal cortex. Or if they have to have a conversation and make some rules of the game with their friend, that also involves their social part and the language parts also, right? And then, of course, they have to remember the steps of it, which involves the hippocampus. And the final thing, and perhaps the most important thing, is the limbic system, which actually gives rise to the joy and the excitement and the curiosity that children bring. And all these parts of the brain then come together. While the child is connecting with different things, people, environment, the activity, the brain is also connecting with
Which
one
leads
part
to the
with the
overall
other.
development of
And
the
these
child.
connections actually become more and more permanent.
Well, thank you for explaining that so well. Dr. Sharma, now we've seen, in fact, Dr. Amit Sen also just explained to us, play varies by age as well. Like from infants to the year, till they turn 8 years. What are the different kinds of play? Take us through the various stages of play, and what does it do for a child at different stages?
I think play is a method of exploration. Exploration about self, about their potential, about their interest, as well as exploration of the outside world. So initially start with at individual level where they engage in some individual games and all, and as they grow up, they start into the team game also. But all these games, along with the explorations, also gives them the opportunity for connectivity. Connect with others, connect with the same age group friends, connect with elders also who engage with them in play. Third thing it also provides is communication. Some of the children likes more communicative approaches in the play games and all, so they like those communication also. And the last is because it creates connections, it creates communication and exploration. Overall, it also affects the growth of the child. So as far as nowadays the concern has also come up, like somewhere screen use is taking away those offline connection with the world.
Harpreet, you often say that parents should learn from their children. We just saw what the kids had to say about play. How can parents and caregivers apply these insights into create a play-rich environment that supports healthy brain development in children?
The basic thing that parents can do is to get their children outdoors. The reason for this is what has happened over time is that our houses have become more and more plastic, have become smaller, and they have more and more plastic things. So what happens is that if the child goes outdoors, there are a lot more things for the child to play with. We have to realize that for a child, everything is play. Children don't have this differentiation of that now I'm playing and now I'm not playing. So we don't need to do something special to play with the child. We just need to be there with the child. For example, if we have brought vegetables from the market, and then we say to the child, can you please separate them? And we don't have to say it. If you start separating and the child is young enough, put tomatoes in one place, potatoes in one place, the child will automatically join you, or you invite the child, and the child separating that is play and brain development for the child.
Harpreet, thanks for that. Dipali, your content, if I can just ask you, My Teeny Tot, it showcases, fun ways where children can play, they can be kept busy. Can you share some of your favorite play-based activities that parents and children can do together, as well as spend quality time?
Oh my God, this one's my absolute favorite because I've been doing this for 9 years now. So my son is 9 years old. So, we are curating different sort of activities for them, but there are few activities which I highly recommend for every child. There's like pretend play. Pretend play contains numerous role plays, and we all are playing different sort of roles in our daily lives. So pretend play is definitely very important. Then we have drawing, coloring, sorting. These definitely looks basic, but they are very, very important when it comes to creativity. Then we have sensory bins, we have water play, outdoor play. All these activities, they just encourage them to do better and develop different sort of skills.
So simple things, but fun.
Yeah, fun.
Way. Yeah, no, interesting. Dr. Sen, if you could also tell us how play-based learning can be adapted with children with diverse, abilities, cultures, and also socio-economic backgrounds. I think that's a very important aspect when it comes to play.
Play does not have to be expensive, right? And it does not have to have huge infrastructure. Perhaps there'll be some swings and slides, etc. If not, there'll be trees, plants, butterflies, perhaps animals out there, maybe dogs and cats to play around with, And all that create opportunities for, I think, families and children from all socio-economic strata, right? You have to be, as parents or caregivers or teachers, creative. Play is creative, and I think as parents and caregivers, we also have to be creative to be able to look for those spaces. Unfortunately, again, because of our, drive towards one kind of, let's say, development, which is very concrete and plastic, spaces for play for children is shrinking. And it becomes important then, firstly, as, as policy, as state, to be able to provide for that, but also as parents and teachers to look for spaces.
Dr. Sharma, in fact, Dipali just mentioned about the pretend play, and growing up, pretend play is something we all have experimented, I think, from making tea to being a superhero. What is this type of play actually, as a powerful brain builder? How does pretend play shape the, the development of a brain? Can you explain the science behind this?
Basically, this play also provides the opportunity to, is a way of socialization also, like the way they pretend, the way they engage in the games and all. So this allow them to develop the socialization, that allow them to develop the perspective to look at the things from others players' point of view also, as well as from the others' perspective also. But beside this, once the play has to come into the picture, I think somewhere, if you have to bring play into the picture, we have to bring what we call digital fasting into the families. I think family has to plan that sometime without screen use, screen-free period they have to bring in their lifestyle. And that screen-free periods become a learning for the child that this is the time where I have to engage in some play, and he also knows this has become like a habit for them.
I think a very critical point, digital fasting, very important term, and that's what our pledge, of this campaign of Bachpan Manao is, asking, requesting parents to join the campaign, less screen and more play. Harpreet, if you could also tell us, how do rule-based games support the development of a child, and how can parents and caregivers incorporate rule-based games into daily play to support cognitive development?
No, absolutely. And I think that's an interesting term, rule-based play. When I look at it, all games have rules. Even when the child is playing with themselves, they have made some rules in their mind. Right? For example, if a child is playing with toys and you try to shift one toy here to here, the child might start crying, a 2-year-old. Because in their head, they have made a certain rule. Pakadam Pakadai, hide and seek are also rule-based games. There are, and I just want to put one point here, which doctors have also mentioned, that for the emotional brain development, which seems to be a big focus area for every parent, the physical development of the child in the first 3,000 days is linked, absolutely linked. जितना वो भागेंगे उतना उनका brain develop होगा. Our physical, muscles, everything, gross motor, everything has to be used for it to be developed. So hide and seek, pakadam pakadai, and then children are slightly older, 5 years old, they can play Ludo. Ludo is a rule-based game. Now in a Ludo, when you cut some child off and the child starts crying, okay, I'm about to lose, that is a great place to learn, because disappointment is going to be part of everybody's life, yours and mine. And this is a great place to start learning. I'm not alone in this world and I have to live by certain rules.
I think the Ludo one, we've all lived it by example. I think we've all, or the, the snakes and ladder. जब वो सांप काटे था, why have I been bitten? Yeah. Okay, Dr. Sen, just because, also because Harpreet also spoke about, the physical play, I want to ask you, what are some effective ways to encourage gross motor play as well as parallel play in toddlers?
So gross motor, of course, requires space, right? Because they have to run around, they have to jump, they have to climb, etc. So if there is an open space like that, if there is a park, and if there are like slides and swings and climbing frames, that's great. One can create similar kind of safe spaces within home as well. Children love, climbing on beds and sofas and jump from one chair to the other. So gross and fine motor skills are important parts of development. That's the first part. And toddlers can definitely benefit from spaces which encourage such activity.
Dipali, you were a teacher before, and now of course you're creating content like you rightly told us. But as a mother, I want to ask you, role of a mother, what impact do you see on your children that play has had on them, and how significant it is?
When I talk about my kids, what I have seen through this play-based learning is that they have this character of, I can do it. I'll do it on my own. Okay, so this character is very, very important when it comes to future skills and life skills. So play-based learning has given this character to them.
So well, on that note, we'll be taking a really short break. Don't forget to take the pledge of less screen and more play on ndtv.com/Bachpan Manao. And so that together we can create a community that values play and nurtures the wonder of childhood.
I tell you, you can either only watch or go and play. What will you do?
Watch, obviously. I can read books, I can watch iPad, but if I didn't have iPad, I could just read books and paint. If I didn't have painting, I could just read books. If I couldn't read books, I could just sleep. TV mode. Sometimes we paint with our hands, sometimes we paint with brushes. There's a game I play with my dad. So, supposing it's a bed. Okay. We play on a bed. Okay. He throws a ball. I have to jump because there's a stair to my bed. I jump on that and I leap to get the ball. I would like to go to my friend's house to play a few games with them. I play with my didi, or I play with my mama, papa, or my sister. With my dadi, I play some games that I just take out of my cupboard, and I also read a little bit of Hindi with my dadi. Yeah, sometimes when they're not playing down, they're at the home doing something, I just call them down.
Why do you think parents are telling you कि बेटा एक ही घंटा खेलो फोन पे, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं?
I don't know. I'm not exactly allowed to watch small screens for a long time.
Think about it. Think.
It's not because I'm already wearing specs, because I only wear specs because my eyes are getting rubbed by my hands. So, my eyes can't get spoiled because it strains your eyes.
And what if one day they say no, you can't play on the phone? What will you do?
Obviously a tantrum. Which kid won't do a tantrum if their mom and dad won't let them watch?
You throw a tantrum.
Yes.
What if still they don't listen to you?
Then I'll just steal their phones and watch. Ta-da.
Build your own world, if I tell you. With your friends, with your animals, with whatever your imagination can tell you. What would you do on that day?
I would call friends over and play and make things. I would want everything to be really magical. Happy birthday to you. Done.
Everything really magical. Welcome back. You're watching Bachpan Manao, a celebration of the first 3,000 days of a child's life, made even more joyful and impactful when we just let our children play. We're talking about the impact that play has on brain development. As the brain develops in these critical first 3,000 days, play simultaneously impacts mental and cognitive growth. And we've just heard what the kids had to talk about and what they would do, if they had a screen or if they had a choice to go out, for the screen. So, Dr. Sen, I wanted to ask you, how do you balance the need for digital literacy with the importance of minimizing screen time so that children can go out and play?
I think one way of doing it is to understand that what are the different ways that screen is used by children, particularly of a younger age. Some of it, in some schools particularly, it's used for education as well, isn't it? There are videos, there's probably some homework project that needs to be done. Some of it is to do with connecting socially, chatting perhaps and doing some video calls and all that. There is entertainment, and then there are, of course, mindless scrolling and watching things that go completely out of control. And it's important to categorize these. And if you're able to do that, even with younger children, you saw how smart they were, how they were able to actually understand, the significance of screen and what they want, then it is easier to divide it and say, okay, let's see why are you using the screen and what do you need it for? Some amount of entertainment and fun with screen is okay, but it has to be limited.
Dipali, would you like to add anything? Like, how do you think, one can maintain that balance like Dr. Sen just said?
See, as a parent, I would, suggest every parent out there, you have to set an example.
Yeah.
Okay, if you are mindlessly scrolling and doing your stuff and you're just, asking your child not to watch screen, it's impossible. You have to, set an example, like, see, I'm into social media world. So everything is digital for me. I have to use my phone. I have to watch reels. I have to create content and everything. So I make sure that my child is well aware that this is mama's job and this is what she is doing.
Harpreet, if you can tell us, how can parents and educators balance the need for structured learning with the importance of free play?
Structured learning is an interesting term, and if we see that in the form we know it, it is only about 200-300 years old for children, because before that, schools did not exist for younger children, in the same form. So now structured learning is required because we want the child to understand something that we believe is important for the child as they will grow up in this world, let's say mathematics or science or certain other concepts, right? So, okay, it is good to have structured learning, but the two things that parents can keep in mind. One, I would say, is that for the parents to understand that young kids have less concentration or attention spans. So if you have in the first 3,000 days of a child below the age of 8, 30 minutes of structured learning is more than enough for anything. It is exhausting for the child because you're getting them to do something they're not doing out of their own curiosity and free play.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sen. Thanks so much, Dipali. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma and Harpreet, for joining us today. Clearly, play is the spark that ignites a child's curiosity, creativity and imagination, fueling their all-round development and laying the foundation for life skills. It is through play that children develop essential skills, values and habits that shape their physical, emotional, social and cognitive growth, preparing them for a happy, healthy and successful life. Head over to our website ndtv.com/Bachpan Manao for more on this very crucial initiative, and of course, do take the pledge. Thank you all so much for watching.
रंग चढ़े खुद का ही खुद पे बच्चों को तू ऐसे बढ़ा बचपन मना रे यारा बचपन मना रोशन हो ये नन्हे दिए इन्हें तू रोज सजा बचपन मना रे यारा बचपन मना